There is a stock trader who is far and above every single stock trader on Wall Street. She is unbelievable. Unfortunately, she's been burdened by having to be in Congress the last several decades, but Nancy Pelosi has outperformed pretty much every hedge fund, stock brokerage, ETF, everything. She has outperformed, and President Trump is calling her on it. And because he's calling her on it, people are asking her about it. I want you to watch this clip from CNN where Jake Tapper, who's told her we were going to talk about something else, questions her on it, and watch her not be cool about it.
Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider.
Yeah, there's again. She just. They happen to be the best. Bobby, the reporter there, Jake Tapper, was bravely the one who uncovered Joe Biden's cognitive decline. None of us were aware of that until Jake Tapper's groundbreaking book. But I don't know. Why do you think he asked that about her? Do you think he's covering his own butt? And also, what do you think's going on Nancy's side?
I mean, as far as why he's asking it, it's anybody's guess. I would imagine that it's to create clips like that, because I can't imagine that a lot of people are watching CNN on a regular basis. And if the ratings for these types of shows and these types of channels and whatnot are all decreasing, then it seems to me like this is kind of like the only play that you actually have left. But the thing that's so unfortunate about the insider trading and the Congress people trading stocks is that this is like the secret unspoken rule of how to actually make money in Washington, D.C. Otherwise, I feel like a lot of these people wouldn't just go there for public service. It's how you make 10, 20, 30 times your income. But the reality is like the insider trading component, legally speaking, is not what they're actually breaking. It's just that they have so much information that it gives them an advantage inherently. They don't have to have some officer of the company tell them some secret and that they know it's going to go one way or the other. They are making the decision as to whether it will go one way or the other, which means that they're absolved from any of those laws. So she obviously doesn't care or pretends she doesn't care because she already made $280 million or whatever. And she's also 136 years old. So she doesn't care. But I saw Rick Scott saying the same thing. Rick Scott is like, oh, we shouldn't be against these people making money. And it's like, dude, Rick Scott is worth like over $500 million. I like Rick Scott, don't get me wrong. But it's like the problem is that this is the reasoning why people go in to public office and public service, is that they can enrich themselves with insider information that's not illegal. So it is a problem, but none of these people are ever going to vote to take away their own, money funnel.
It sounds like you're telling me you don't know any other people that have a job that has $100,000 salary, but for some reason are worth $500 million. That happens all the time across the board. Haley, right. your thoughts on this? One, the question, but two, Nancy and her husband just being fantastically wealthy after a life of public service.
I think my favorite animal is watching Nancy Pelosi trying to have a coherent sentence come out of her mouth. So it's always fun to see that. It's always a good little game for me to see if it's going to make sense or not. But, I think one thing is that you should not be making laws that are also going to financially benefit you. I think that's very much common sense. And an interesting thing I noticed is before the election, if everybody remembers, there was a lot of talk from our elected officials that were like, we need to really put these bans in place for stock trading for those and their family members to not be able to do that. And all of a sudden that rhetoric seems to have changed quite a bit, no matter how many vodka sodas you've had in the day. It just seems like now all of a sudden we're not for that. And I think at the end of the day, I don't know the metric of this, but I would assume when you have multiple highly followed Twitter accounts following your every move in the stock market, you're probably doing something incorrectly. So I hope, once again, that there is people with spines and enough kahunas to say this has got to stop. This is not something favorable to the American people. And hopefully I'm just going to hold out hope here again. I'm holding a lot, you guys, that someone is going to stand up and actually do something about it, because it's disgusting in my personal opinion.
Haley's leading the charge and choosing optimism. I love it.